No, well, I would wait, obviously, until they can read. Now, they might ask questions before then. That would be tricky.
I'm curious to meet your potential children.
And I would ask them simply to reflect on it and come to their own conclusions, which is what I think I would do about God and metaphysics and those sorts of things in general. So, yeah, I have to think about what I would do before they can read Wikipedia entries. That would be, I don't know.
Thanks.
Get back to me.
This one I'm actually addressing something that was talked about a little bit earlier. You said like how in the Christmas time everyone's a bit depressed, and how in that time would be the best time to gather around in the winter. But then there's one thing that isn't really relevant if you look in the southern hemisphere, is that this is actually summer right now. So I guess it's only a North American, well, not North American, sorry, a Northern Hemisphere kind of thing. So how are you?
It's very true, but I have no illusions that I'm out to change the world, but I can work within the society that I live in. So I think my version of Christmas is based on the Christmas I was raised in. I have Aussie friends who go have barbecues every Christmas, and they can't imagine a Christmas without a family barbecue. So people will pick the things that they want to have around Christmas.
Thank you.
No.
Hi, I have two questions for both of you. Regarding about Christmas, as being single, I heard that before Christmas. Hello?
Okay, for this, if you've got two questions, do you mind asking them one at a time, so
Sure,
that
one at a time.
ask them and then they'll answer, and then they can answer the second one?
My first question is that I know Christmas for single people, like people who are not married, they get suicidal, very depressed, and everything. In your case, what is your perspective how to deal with all this? If you want to celebrate with Christmas, if just decide not to celebrate Christmas and not think about it, should we continue to move on forward, or we have to keep thinking about the past?
So your question is
About depression before Christmas. How do you deal with in the future? Like it's going to happen Christmas again the next year, like over and over, like every December.
How do you plan?
How do you plan for it? Yeah, thank you, Justin.
We'll have distress centers open, you know, after hours during that period, I guess.
Yeah.
They probably already are.
Right.
Yeah, I guess they already exist, but just make sure there's lots of employees there. I'm not sure what else can be done. I mean, you can't change the fact that anytime you emphasize, you know, family and friends, there's going to be people who don't have lots of either, and they're going to get kind of depressed.
yeah,
what are you going to do?
that's true. It's the same thing around like things like Valentine's Day that emphasize if you don't have a partner, you're an idiot. Like it's and I've always really disliked that.
But it does kind of get to my point, is that if we dilute this, and if different people celebrate different things at different times, and there isn't everybody emphasizing in every aspect of the media specific days and weeks as being valuable to people with friends and family, I think you would dilute that effect. But I know it would have other consequences, like people who have their friends and family will be able to actually see them, so they don't get depressed about that. I don't know that there really is much of a solution there.
Yeah, I guess it goes back to my idea that you have to choose what would make you happy. So if it's not friends and family, like find an awesome hobby that you really want to do. Like just find something that would make you happy. Hobbies don't close.
There's movies.
Well, if it's an entertainment venue.
But like everybody has something they enjoy doing alone. So like why don't they figure something out? Like I'm not saying that came out wrong, but like I think if we change the emphasis from you must go celebrate with your family to take a damn holiday, it would help.
Sure. All right, well, I think this debate's wearing thin, so if there's any... oh, sorry.
Okay, so, yeah, after your second question, is there anybody else in line there? Are you in line?
That's fine.
Okay, so after you, then we're going to wrap it up because it's already 10 to 10, so it's getting late, so... Well, yeah, but we still want time to party afterwards.
They
So
want us to shut up so they can go drink.
I want us to shut up so they can go pay for drinks. So by all means, next question.
So, so the last two questions are going to be answered, and then the floor will be closed.
Okay, second question. It won't be long. I know there's a lot of homeless people that don't have families. They sleep on the streets of the city of Toronto, and then come in for food shelters every Christmas. And some people volunteer to help food bank for supper. My question is, My question is, how do you tell the homeless about if it's religious about God or non, as an atheist perspective? How do you tell them? How do you deal with getting up being homeless into a real life reality, what they want to be in their career after, instead of being homeless?
I think that goes somewhat beyond the scope of the discussion, and it's not something I have expertise in. I'm an archaeologist. I don't really do social programming, but I would love for there to be a lot more secular programs out there, but it's not something I really can comment on.
Yeah, I mean, we can only do what we can do, and of course CFI does some secular alternative social programs, and Free Thought Association of Canada here's going to be going down the road of doing more charitable work of the sort that you described. And so there's obviously lots of secular groups already, like Goodwill, that are not religious. I mean, I don't think that's a big obstacle. We should do more of those.
I just wanted to comment on the subject of depression because it's possible that it's more about the weather and long-term nights and the higher energy bills, and I'm wondering if that should be reflected more so than the actual Christmas itself as a contributing to suicide rates.
Yeah, definitely, and same with all the extra visits to hospitals and stuff like that. It has to do with a lot more people traveling and things. So there is a lot more to it than just people being depressed and stuff like that, but it's still an important issue.
Yeah, you'd have to look at the statistics and see there's actually a hump right around Christmas. So the hump can't be explained away by all those other things. But anyways, interesting observation. Okay, good. Well, I guess we'll close if you want to.
Okay, so we're going to...
I just wanted to also mention that I've written this piece, actually this was a couple of years ago when I used to do a panel on the Globe and Mail online that I used to mention here. This was back in January of 2008, just after the Christmas season 2 years ago, and the panel was asked to reflect on the meaning of the holidays, and it was mostly a religious panel, but I was on there, was a secular humanist, and I did write something about what it meant to secular humanists. This was kind of an analysis based on dozens of different contributions from lots of you and other people not in this room, and so it's a little bit more positive and uplifting, I think, than everything I've said tonight, which I hope you read so you get a balanced perspective on my opinions on this issue. So I'll just leave that at the front.
Okay, so thank you everybody for coming out and listening to them, and thanks to all the comments and questions that were brought up during this, and especially thank you to both Jenny and Justin for the debate and entertaining us with that.